Hello, everyone, ladies and gentlemen, wherever you are today.
Hello.
Welcome to our next webinar. But before we start off, we'd like to ask you if you can hear us and if you can see us. We are streaming on YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn, so please share at least one comment from each of the platform so we can uh, go on with our clear consciousness. Consciousness. That's the plural for it.
Yeah. So please let us know so we can share our knowledge with you today about webinars. So how we can do it, but yeah, we will get
It's a
to
webinar
the
about
descriptions.
making a webinar. It's a webinarception. Yeah,
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 we
pretty
should
much.
get like this little thing you need to twist and to see if we are still in the real world or real webinar or just talking about it.
Hello there, Nicholas. Thank you for confirming. Actually, can you see and hear us correctly?
Hello, good to hear you and see you. Actually, Regia.
Do you read us? YouTube probably reads as well.
LinkedIn with us as well. Great. Hello, George. George.
Or Jorge,
Jorge.
or forget if we misspell it, but we're
Yeah.
just trying as hard as we can.
You can let us know how to do it properly in the comment.
All right, looks like we're all good. Thank you guys for confirming. Okay, so without further ado, let's start off with today's webinar official opening. Today's webinar is about creating a webinar campaign. We are inviting you to backstage of our webinar campaign, so hopefully you'll have a lot of fun and learn a couple of things. By the way, uh, let's go through today's agenda. We are going to answer a couple of questions, starting with why do you need to run webinars? Because obviously you need to do that. What tools do you need to promote? Do you need to promote your webinar, or how to create a webinar landing page? How to invite people to your event to make sure they all get it right and they sure that they actually want to be there with you. And of course, we are going to discuss pros and cons of live streaming and pre-recording. Uh, so let's start with that huge question: why do you need to run webinars at all? Well, obviously, you'd like to show yourself as an expert in your branch by while creating the portfolio of your services, of your products. You are accumulating a huge amount of knowledge. You are investigating the market. You are learning the good practices. Your strongest side is actually the 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 biggest knowledge about your product there is. So you're an expert with your product, with your service, and this is the knowledge that it's very useful to uh, create a content with, to make sure that all of your potential customers, buyers, or your target audience is familiar with, because knowing what's going on inside the branch, on the market, and they will probably find your solution as an answer to their needs, to their problems. So what's important here is to share the knowledge. It's to position yourself. It's to being a sort of guru of for your audience, and to make sure that they get all the knowledge necessary to make like a conscient to make like a very strong and supported with a huge amount of knowledge decision.
And it's
Uh,
always good to keep educating your current group of people of interested people, or future potential ones who are just starting to get to know more about your environment of your product or your branch of interest.
Okay, so the next thing, webinars are obviously very appealing and effective way to present content. Oh, why appealing? Because we're living like in an image era, really,
Yeah.
and if it's a movie,
It's easier to see
it's
than read,
it's
of,
even
for
better.
example.
I think I won't be the only one who claims that it's easier to, let's say, watch like 10 or even 15 tutorial video than going through a boring like block of text guide, couple of or dozens of pages. It's more appealing, it's more attractive. You actually, I think that most of us nowadays can like soak in the knowledge just by watching the video, by listening to someone who speaks to you, by seeing the presentation like the one we are showing you right now, by seeing how the tool works, which we are going to present you a little bit later on. So that is why it's very effective to educate a, a huge amount of people at like a certain amount of time. Let's say today's half an hour webinar that can be shown to like a huge amount of people, that they will watch it now, watch it later on, because obviously recording will be available for you for further use and further reference. So yeah, it is very very effective to pass knowledge at scale, and that is why we are going to do it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we will keep
we'll
on,
keep
we
on
will
doing it.
continue on doing it. Yeah.
All right. Generating leads. Obviously, if someone signs up for your webinar, he or she leaves your contact data. That contact data are the lead. If someone's already your customer, that's okay. He wants to stay in touch with your brand and with your content. If someone's new, it's even better, because obviously that's the potential customer you'd like to you want to
Embrace,
bring,
yeah.
embrace, to cherish, to nurture him, to finally become your to eventually become your customer. uh, and it's all about the connection with the audience. Yeah, we have the current audience, we have a new audience, so we want to connect with you guys, so we can see that we are not bots answering your emails, that we are not only the the one that signs the emails. We
Yeah,
are
in a
we're the actual
signature,
in a
you know,
signature.
we are living things.
We are living
Live
things. We have
guys.
hopefully you have some interesting things to say. So, and we want to keep it that way. We want to keep in touch with you. So it's a great thing for us. That's like the strongest pro for for making a webinar. uh, Possibility of interaction, that's obviously it comes naturally from the connecting with the audience point, because obviously there are Q&A panels that we want you to ask questions, and we are very happy to answer them. We have that discussions going, and it strengthens our bond.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing. And of course, last but not least, enhancing sales processes. It is very a frequent practice, I believe, when someone, let's say, works in an education branch and sells courses
Hmm.
or any other educational materials, and invites you to a webinar to give you like 15% off for their future products or for the current products that the webinar is about. So let's say it's the one thing is that it's actually the lead magnet for that it's something that attracts a visitor to actually watch your webinar, and it actually makes the transaction easier later on when someone gets that discount code. Sometimes these 15% off, let's say, it's a huge amount of money that can actually be a deal maker,
Yeah,
really.
yeah, and also even if you are selling some physical product, you can set up some giveaway campaign or giveaway promotion, if you will, at the end of your webinar, and try to promote this by promoting the giveaway feature of your webinar. And if two or a couple of people will end up on your webinar simply for the giveaway, they will have a chance to listen to you for a bit, at least, let's say, hopefully. And maybe you will just attract them with your title. So if that's gonna work, that's great, right? So basically, yeah, it's not only to enhance your sales processes, but also to simply, yeah, enhance your addition, sorry, audience to to get into your webinar and to get engaged,
All
more
right,
engaged.
so let's go to a tool section. What tools do we use for our webinars? Obviously, we need a webinar platform. Right now, we are streaming at Melon, but we used to stream on StreamYard. Obviously, there are plenty of streaming platforms out there. There's Zoom, there's Livestorm, there's Click Meeting, so like plenty to choose really. Obviously, it only depends on your needs, on your scale of action, on where lies your target audience, uh, and on your budget really, because obviously there is no
Yeah,
need to pay a lot for a like sophisticated streaming tool when you can stream directly from YouTube if there's
correct,
your
correct.
uh,
So if you're just starting with
potential.
webinars, maybe that's the easiest way to just check out if webinar is a method that works for you, for your business, for your audience. So you can simply just go to create your own YouTube channel or go to your Facebook web page and create some webinar there and see if that works for you, and you will that's going to be easier for you, I believe, than just going for the sophisticated, as Patrick mentioned, sophisticated webinar platforms from the get-go.
Okay, what's next? Next is a landing page editor. Obviously, we have chosen landing. You guess why? But
Nothing comes to my mind, huh?
so yeah, so why landing page? Because it's fantastic way to promote your webinar. Your landing page can tell the entire story about the event that is closing in. You can show your agenda and details there. You can show your lectures section. You can show pretty much everything. You can encourage people with the counter. You can do many very interesting things to encourage your visitors to become your audience during
And
this
it looks
webinar.
professional.
And it looks professional. Yeah, you are going to see it in a little bit because Carol will analyze our webinar landing page to show you what tricks we did to what can I say, to have you here today.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, CRM and or email marketing tool. Obviously, it's a great help uh, in preparation for a webinar, because obviously when someone signs up for a webinar, the contact details needs to go somewhere. When you have a dedicated tool such as like CRM tool, in our case it's HubSpot. We are going to discuss it a little bit further later on. Uh, you have this data put in nicely and in an ordered manner. It's very easy to create a dedicated mailing list, so you can address the proper people with specific communication, so to speak. So yeah, it's a very helpful thing. We are going to show you how is it implemented on our landing page, so
Yeah.
we can identify who actually signed up for this specific webinar, and how did you get our invitation and reminder emails about today's event. And calendar management tool, it's not must have, but it's a very nice thing to go an extra mile towards your customer. We are using actually I'm using Ad Event. Ad Event is a like calendar management tool that actually helps me to create add to calendar button. I have that today's event right here. Let me show you from up close. So yeah, we have today's event title, we have the description, we have the time, date of the event. But what's important here, we have that little thing add to calendar button feature for websites, landing pages, if you're using them. It actually includes HTML code that can be easily implemented in pretty much, I think, every landing page builder nowadays.
Yeah, any page,
Well, if
basically.
you have a page developer, or
Yeah.
you're coding yourself or you're developing your pages yourself, you can add it by just pasting it to the source code of your page. But obviously, if you're not developer yourself or a web designer yourself, you can use a tool such as ours to implement it in a few clicks, which is going to be shown in a minute
Yeah,
for you.
with basically 2 3 clicks, you can do it with Landingi to implement such a button to your landing page.
And what we achieve here, we just make sure that you are well aware of upcoming event, and every day you're checking your calendar. Okay, what's there? What's there? Okay, he's landing a webinar. So that's a good thing for us to invite ourselves to your calendars,
Yeah.
literally. uh, so yeah, that will be pretty much it about the tools. And right now we are going to analyze our webinar landing page. And over to you, Carol. Then.
Thank you very much, Patrick. So yeah, I will very briefly just talk about our landing page, obviously created with our Landingi platform. Here it is on my landing page list. So just to show you a little bit of background and how we did that, I will go to the editor and builder basically of that landing page, which is right here. And here we can see how it looks like. Obviously, it's got some header, it got some footer at the bottom of the page with some basic information, with some basic links to our different pages, like templates, right? Like some community links, some resources about us and stuff like that. And going back to the top, this is a very cool thing because we actually have 2 different sections created on the same landing page. The main section, which is published right now, is the section that invites you or invites the visitor for a particular webinar, right? So in this case, it's learn how to prepare a webinar campaign, which we are conducting right now. But tomorrow, after we finish, we're gonna hide this section and show the more general one, which will basically invite a visitor for any webinar, for the next webinar we conduct. So yeah, this is very easy to manage. You can set it up before and basically after your webinar you can just go to the editor, hide some sections, show the other one, and manage it this way with just a couple of clicks. Next up on our landing page, we got, because that's not our first webinar, we got watch our previous webinars section, which connects couple of different webinar videos from our past to show the visitor what he can expect, or what he or she can expect from our webinars, what themes are we touch on, etc etc. Next up, we got the meet the host section, so a little bit more about me, about Patrick, or whomever we're gonna conduct those webinars. And lastly, we got the counter to to tell you exactly,
To put a little bit of pressure on you.
yeah. I wouldn't tell it better. So yeah, Patrick, that's exactly what we want to achieve with that one. uh, coming back to the tool, the tool you need, or which might be useful for your webinar management, that Patrick mentioned, is a CRM. So you can actually connect your form in Landingi. You can connect your form with some CRM of your choice, or basically your email address, if that's going to be easier for you. In our case, we connect our form with HubSpot. Very easy, and that allows us to automatically receive on HubSpot end, receive that leads details from our landing page, and by applying some hidden fields with it, like lead magnet, and telling exactly to which webinar group this particular lead should be assigned to, we can very easily create mailing lists, newsletter lists, and make sure that everyone who submitted their detail will receive the reminders, will receive the proper information about the upcoming webinars. Lastly, the thank you page. So this is actually the page where a visitor lands on after he or she submits the form. And yeah, very, very straightforward one. We just thank here for joining and for signing up. And here's actually the place where you can add this particular event, this particular webinar to your calendar. So the tool that Patrick showed a couple of minutes ago. And it is added with the HTML element. Once I edit it, you can see that this is exactly the tracking code that Patrick copied from the at event.com tool. So very easy to apply that to your landing pages as well. So yeah, I guess that's more or less that's the way we built our landing page. Of course, in landing you can also browse through different landing page webinar themed templates, let's say. So if you would like to create similar page for your purpose, I think we will get you covered for that one as well.
Of course, we do. We will. Let's go straight to the point about how to prepare a webinar invitation. So, what question needs to be answered in such webinar? What is a webinar title? We need to include a short description of the event, like today's. We will invite you to the backstage of our webinar campaigns. Date and exact time of event. From obvious reasons, we don't anyone to miss that thing.
That's the last thing we want. Apart from technical problems,
we don't want you to miss a thing, you know that, as the song goes. And of course, there has to be a webinar agenda present. So yeah, we need to include that one too, so you actually know what's going to be answered, what's going to be spoken about. Yeah, and what knowledge will you gain after watching our webinar. Of course, CDA in our cases, CDA leads to that the very landing page you've seen before a second, and there you can submit your details for our to sign up for our webinar. And of course, we can't forget about reminders, like reminding emails. In our case, there's one sent like half an hour before we start. Let's take a closer look on how do these invitations look like. And there we are. There is, like, of course, hi thing and Wednesday, exact date, exact time. That's the title. Here's the agenda that I've presented in the very beginning of our today's meeting. And of course, the link to the landing page you've seen before.
Yeah, the shorter the better, I guess. We don't want to scare the potential audience with a lot of text. That's why we also have a CTA in the form of a landing page that can actually expand that idea, tell a little bit more about that webinar. Yeah, in the background.
And based on our CRM data and based on who have opened our previous email, like the first invitational email, we are sending the reminder, which includes like links to the specific platforms directly to the stream, because by the time we already have the links prepared. We remind you we remind you about our agenda, and that's the bold one here. We remind you that we start in 30 minutes, so you got like a couple of moments to make a last cup of coffee before we kick off, so to speak. So yeah, that's how it looks, and our faces. So you, our faces to haunt you if you miss the webinar. That's how it works. Okay, so that will be it. And last but not least, should we live stream or should we use a pre-recorded content? Well, there are pros and cons for both of them. So let's start with the stress factor, which is obviously present when you start your first webinar. I remember my experience when I wasn't really into speaking live into like lots of people at the time, at the very same time. So yeah, that's something that needs to be pretty much worked through, because
Yeah, that
the
comes
more
with
yeah,
experience.
the more live events you run, the lesser the stress factor
Yeah,
really, up to the moment when it's this, when it comes, when you can feel like that positive stress,
yeah,
that's something that empowers you, that push you towards action, that's something you want to tackle to overcome your weaknesses, so to speak. So yeah, the stress factor is present in the beginning, but later on, after a couple of events, it's just like a motivator really.
yeah.
uh, what's important in live streaming, you need to host like methodically, uh, present knowledge and operate technically at the same time. It may be tricky sometimes when you switch between sharing screens, if there's some like technical issues. Well, speaking about unpredicted technical issues, we do had we've encountered such. We today we had a webinar that was nearly at its end, but we've lost the audio, and shortly after we lost the video. So we need to like record the whole stuff again, and we are about to release it with a like apologies email to our Polish audience to make it up for them. So yeah, sometimes it happens. It's so annoying. It's really so annoying because it's really it doesn't depend on us really. We can't do anything about it. It's out of
Sometimes,
our
yeah,
control. Yeah,
yeah.
it's sometimes there are these factors out of control that you need to face.
To be able to face and handle basically, and
Yeah.
then just
So doing the live
be
streaming,
obvious.
you need to be prepared that at some point after a couple, well, hopefully not, but there is this big chance that you are going to stumble upon some technical issues that will interrupt your live transmission. It's all about acting with a focused mind. So you just need to communicate that there is a problem, that we are very sorry, and we are going to get back to you. Well, we're only people, right? And there are many factors that are out of control if you're doing live event. But in the case of such technical issues, all you need to do is to apologize and to make it up, to deliver the content as promised. And this is how it works.
Yeah,
It's no tragedy, but it is a little bit annoying.
and it's much easier, and yeah, much easier to manage that technical content, that technical matter, when you were just pre-recording the videos, because before you publish it, you can actually see it, and decide, oh, I could do something better here, or I can say something better, or something just blew up here and there, so we can actually fix it before the final publication. So yeah, that technical issues can be rid of basically with pre-recording videos.
Uh, okay, so what you need to cover with live streaming is it has to be run at the right time for your audience. Obviously, when you run a global business, you're operating on a global scale. Uh, it's very tricky to find like a
Perfect spot for
perfect spot for
everybody.
everybody.
Yeah.
We're trying to cover as much as we can. So we have that. We have Europe in mind. We have like East Coast in mind. We're trying to have a little bit of Asia in mind,
Yeah.
but it's never that easy to have to find that perfect spot. So we have to agree on a specific hour, and later on make sure that that the live event is recorded. So
Yeah.
anyone who cannot attend because of the time can actually
Can
see
get
it.
back to the
Yeah.
recording later.
So it's a well, it's a good thing to take care of. Always try to record your live events.
Yeah.
Uh, Why the live events? Well, better audience interaction. That is obvious. You have the Q&A section. You can talk. You can discuss. You can ask. You can answer the questions, which is very important factor if we talk about strengthening the bond with the audience. So yeah, that's the main thing that I consider to be the biggest.
Difference
Yeah, the difference between and then the
yeah,
biggest
pros.
pro for a live streaming.
Yeah.
And of course preparations are less consuming, less time consuming, because obviously during the live streaming is just a clicking go live, and all you have to do
Is to perform.
is to perform.
Yeah.
Yeah, what we did do before the webinar is to prepare a couple of emails, do a little bit of change, a couple of tweaks on our landing page to update it to be like in line with our newest webinar agenda, and schedule the transmission, the live stream on our streaming platform, and that's it. While if we're talking about pre-recorded stuff, it's quite, it can
Yeah,
be time consuming.
yeah, it can take more time, if especially if you would like to have that super perfect experience for your audience, you know, to make sure that every single word, every single sentence, everything you present is, you know, pitch perfect. So currently with our live streaming webinars, we trying to just go with the flow, I
Yeah.
believe, and we believe that works best for us. But if you prefer to do recording, just yeah, it can be more time consuming than the live streaming.
So if stress is not an issue for you, actually, I think everyone nowadays lives in a little bit of stress.
Yeah,
Stress keeps us going, really. If you can cope with that, go for live streaming.
at
In
least
my opinion,
once
at least once,
you will
just
just
to find out.
learn.
Live streaming is much more forgiving because everyone knows that we're only human after all. Don't put the blame on me, as the song as the song say. I'm only human after all. So yes, but if you want everything like to be top notch, if you want to put some additional visuals to it, if you want to make a sound be like crystal clear, or if you want to, you know, to make a masterpiece, really go for pre-recording, because obviously there's a lot of tweaking there, but only pre-recording and then tweaking with it, editing it,
Post production, basically.
will allow you to make such masterpiece.
Yeah.
So yeah, that will be pretty much it if it comes to our agenda. So right now it's a question from you, or questions if you do
Q and
have
A
any.
session.
Yeah, Q&A. Let's strengthen our bond.
Let's make our better audience interaction, right?
Yeah,
Or
that.
watching on our
So
agenda.
we're waiting for your questions right now, for your feedback, or perhaps you have any idea on what to do next.
Or if you already
If it comes to
doing
our
some
webinar topics,
webinars by yourself, just let us know if you are doing them. Yeah, we would love to hear some.
or are they very different, or how are they different from the ones we're doing?
Do you prefer live streaming or pre-recording? So maybe that's also the question that might be answered.
Which tool is best? What tool do you mean exactly, trackers? You mean like the streaming tool? Because if we are talking about streaming platform, I don't think there is like a one answer to it. As we said before, it all depends on scale. If you start doing your webinars, you can start off with YouTube streaming options, really, like directly on the platform.
Yeah.
If you are trying to address like more groups or more platforms, or you want to stream on a couple of platforms simultaneously, it's good to have like more sophisticated streaming tool. As for example, we're streaming on YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn at the same time, so we're using Melon right now, which allows you to connect and schedule the live streams and connect them to each platform via the API key. So yeah, it really depends. We're doing it's our second tool. Yeah, we did StreamYard. We use StreamYard, and our subscription ended. Right now we're on Melon,
So
and
that was actually the time before I entered the webinar. So where was there a particular reason why we ended up with StreamYard and switched to Melon, or that was
I think
just
it was the we wanted to check the options, to
all
check
right,
it to see what's the difference between these tools, because
all
obviously
right,
we are still optimizing our processes,
yeah.
and yeah, it's uh, well, from our experience we can recommend Melon, really, because it's quite all right. Yeah, it's quite it's easy to operate with. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
there's no.
UX friendly, let's say. Yeah.
Can we do recording while we are streaming on YouTube?
Yes, from what I know and from my experience, every YouTube live session is also recorded. So once you finish it, just like ours, we are also streaming on YouTube. And after we finish, the video will be available for your future reference. It might not be available straight away after we finish, but after a couple of minutes or after a yeah half an hour up to an hour, I believe, that will be available for anybody anywhere in the world, right? So
Of course, you need to switch the settings, because you need to make a video public, etc. And for example, allow the video to be posted on external web pages, because that's all that need to be taken care of before you actually start to promote your video.
but basically that's a pretty basic feature to also that live streams are recorded.
Do we have any other questions?
Yeah, a couple of more minutes for you guys to for you to let us know if you would like to ask anything or share any
Experiences
experiences with
regarding
us. Yeah.
webinars?
I really like how you put the stress factor thing, that it turned into motivation. At some point, that the for the first two webinars, that's really a stress, but after that time, it motivates you, right? You go in front of the camera, you know that someone
Yeah, when you
is
start,
is after the
when
camera.
that the going live counter starting to
Yeah,
go
yeah.
down, it's just like, let's nail it attitude. Yeah, let's just do it.
Five,
Yeah,
four,
yeah,
three. That kicks off.
yeah. So yeah, there's a little bit of adrenaline rush in the
Yeah.
beginning, but it's a good thing. It's a good thing. Okay, so if you do not have any other questions, we'd like to thank you for your attention today. Hopefully, we are going to see you in the next one. We are going to keep you posted. Next one is going to be a like more of a lighter kind of
Yeah, some Santa Claus
Chris,
thing,
Christmas
Christmas. Yeah,
Christmas-ish
yeah.
things.
We
Yeah.
will see. We will see.
Well, well, thank you for your feedback, trackers. So we appreciate it.
Great
There
to
will
hear.
be more. There will be more. It's great to hear. Well, we're doing it for you guys, and well, big five to you. Yeah,
Happy
happy.
Christmas. Yeah, there
Well,
will be time to.
hopefully we are going to see you before Christmas. But
Yeah.
thank you very much. Well, back at you then, and well, all of you guys take care. Watch yourself, and see you on the next one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Take
Take
care.
care.
Bye bye.
Thank you for your time.